Welcome, friends. This is Melanie with Melanie Stamps, where color and creativity collide. Today we are making a shaped card, and make sure to stick around till the end to see my bonus card. Hi guys. Today I'm coming to you with a shaped card that we are going to make with the Essential Arches set by Spellbinders. This set is a collection of 16 dies, all concentric. I've got three of them pulled out here, but they go from really tiny all the way to much larger. So, and this largest die is actually a little bit larger than an A2, just slightly. So the one in is actually your A2 size. So you've got, if you wanted to border an A2, you could border an A2, or like you could use this even, on a larger card if you wanted to use it on an A7, or 5x7. So we're going to use that. And what I've done here is I've already pre-cut this, but I left it in taped up so I could show you what I've done. You can do this with any shaped die pretty much. Wherever your fold line is, you want to put your die so that this cutting edge is over the fold line, so it does not cut the fold line. Everything else is cutting but the fold line, so that when you take this off, your fold line is intact. And occasionally you do have to run it through your die cut machine a couple times. And if your plates are really bad and you're getting lines on your paper, put it in a piece of copy paper. Just fold a piece of copy paper in half and put your card and die inside the copy paper, and that will help with any markings. God, I got washi tape back here too. And then you have your side folding. And I've also done them top folding. It just depends on where you want your fold. If it's if it's scalloped all the way around, maybe a rectangle all the way around, you could do it. Usually the shape itself is cut off here. This shape just fit perfectly on this, but usually you don't absolutely have to, but I recommend, to make it look right, you cut another piece. And a lot of times, if it's shaped, like scalloped or whatever, you're going to have a cut side that doesn't have the scallops on it here because of your fold line being straight. So cut another one, and usually I will do it out of the card base paper, because usually I don't use a pre-made card base. Usually I make my own, but this happened to be an A2 card base that was pre-made. But use a heavyweight cardstock and cut your die to match and put it on top, and that way it will cover up where the fold line is, and it'll give you your full shape of your die all the way around. So if this was scalloped here, by putting this scalloped piece on top, you would now have a scalloped edge here where your fold line is. And that'll make your card look complete and fully shaped the way it's supposed to. In this case, this was straight anyways. So it just happened that it came out perfect. So I didn't worry about doing a white one on top, and then my colored one. So that's just a tip. So I made a little frame here, and I cut it 4 times. I used one piece of paper and cut it 4 times, and I used the 3rd and 4th die in from the top, or from the largest of the die set, and I taped these together so that I could get 4 of the exact same shape dies, and it would cut me a little frame. And you can do this again, any size frame. You could cut a 1/2 inch frame. You could cut a 1/4 inch. You can whatever size in between any of these. So you can, any of these concentric die sets can make frames of all different sizes, which I like to do. And I like to stack them so that they're thick like a frame. And then when it goes on your card, it stands up and it gives you more of a frame look, and it's sturdy. Because a single piece, especially a thin one like this, isn't very sturdy. So this makes for a nice presentation. So that's the base of our card. And I will put these back with this and just set those aside. So this is going to be our card front that we're going to emboss. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this embossing folder, and I'm going to take a dye-based ink. Now, I only have Stampin' Up! Ink, and I'm probably going to be selling my Stampin' Up! Ink eventually. I'm trying to let go of it. I used to sell Stampin' Up! For 10 years. And I'm looking at investing in other brands of ink. I've got 3 potential, well, gosh, there's many to choose from, but I have recommended inks that people have recommended. So I'm being torn in different directions of who I want to invest in and try out. I might get, like a blue family from one of them, pink from another, and a purple from another, and try out the 3 or 4 brands that I've been recommended and see which ones I like the best. Because there's some are foam, some are felt, and I actually have some of each of Stampin' Up! Some of the foam and some of the felt. So I have a lot of both. But it's a big investment. So but I want to get fresh new colors, and I'm old. I'm not buying Stampin' Up! Anymore, so I'm not getting updated new colors, and I'm just ready for a change. So anyways, I'm going to use this because it's what I have. Use what you have and just see what happens. Just play. That's what we're here for. Okay, so anyways, the embossing folder has a flat side and a bumpy side. We are going to ink the flat side. The flat side is your background. So you're inking the flat side, which is the background raised up. The bumpy side is what's going to be raised up on your, the front, the part that's, this is the raised background. This is the raised, that's going to be actually raised on the embossing. So ink the flat for this technique. You can actually try both and see what you like. Now, when I did this for a trial run, it came out splotchy, and I know there are other ways to do it with a brayer that you can get a less splotchy look. But I kind of liked it splotchy. We'll see what we get this time. I kind of liked it splotchy because it kind of looked vintage-y. And I know I don't need to do all this for that small little piece, but hey. Okay, so we will put this little piece down and put it in here. Try not to move it around too much. The nice thing about the new improved Platinum 6 is that the universal plate makes it very easy to do your 3D embossing folders. So it's a no-brainer. You use the base plate and the D plate, and I love it because for 3D embossing plates, you use the D plate. So it's easy to remember. So let's see. Fingers crossed here, because I only cut one. So we're either using this one or we're using our sample, which has a little tear in it, the one, my practice one. So let's keep our fingers crossed. See what we got. Ah, looks nice. It actually looks nicer than my sample one. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I think I'm in love. And it's got a little splotchiness, but I think that gives it character. So I really like that. I love the white. But we're going to jazz it up just a little bit more. Okay, so here is our little baby. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a couple Copic markers and we're going to get creative. So I'm going to go in with the Copic really gently and just dab on the orange here. I'm using YRO2 and I'm just going to touch the petals, the raised part of the petals. And you stick with me during this technique or during this video and stay around to the end because I have a bonus card to share with you. So hang in there. I'm turning the paper so that I can get in the little things. I'm trying not to do the centers so that I can do the centers yellow. So I'm trying not to get the orange marker on the centers, and I don't want to get the orange marker on the background. So I'm just going in and touching it lightly with the tip of the marker. You could use any marker. You don't have to use Copic. Use what you got. Use your stash. And that's the reason I was using the card bases. When I was going through some drawers, destashing, I ran across all of these card bases in envelopes. And I mean, more than a person should humanly have. So I got them all out and I sorted them and I got rid of ones, I destashed ones that I don't think I'd ever use the size or the shape or whatever. And I organized the other ones in drawers and labeled the drawers. And now I'm going through them and using what I have. So, if I use it, I'll make more room for, the new products that I get. And it'll just make more sense in my craft room. One thing you do want to be careful of when you're doing this is to cut your paper before you emboss, because you don't want to die cut your paper after you've embossed because you'll lose your embossing. I did that on the first one just by accident, and you can fix it by running it through the embossing folder again to bring back out the embossing when the die cut machine flattens it, but it made one of the mandalas rip because it pushed the paper through, and that's why I said it's damaged. So just keep that in mind. You want to try to, if you got to cut your paper down, you want to try and do that before you do your embossing folder. And that way you keep all this 3D yumminess. Just doing all these centers and we'll be all done. Tiny, tiny bit right there. Okay. Now, when I got to this point, and this is what led me to the bonus card, I got to this point and I noticed the back, which gave me the idea for the bonus card. Isn't that cool? It's pretty too. by coloring it from the other side, it shows through the paper. So that just gives you a hint of what's coming up in just a little bit. But for now, let's finish this card. So we're going to glue this on here real quick. Where's my big block when I need it? I just cleaned my desk too, if y'all can believe it. Of course you can believe it. I never can find anything when it's clean. Okay. Give that a good press. Glue this on here. Should be pretty perfect since the die cut them out. All right, and then we will layer this right on here. It's almost sad to cover that, isn't it? This embossing folder is just as pretty on the one side as it is the other. You will have a lot of use out of this one. These extra large embossing folders are really a lot of bang for the buck because of the size. Like there's one out this month also that has the tiny little dots on it. It's like these tiny little dots right here. And make sure I got the fold going right. Yep. And I've got one like that that's A2 size, but not something that I could do a 5x7 with or a slim line with, and that is a go-to a go-to embossing folder that you can use year-round for anything, any card. Masculine, feminine, a lot of them have florals on them. In the winter and fall, you don't necessarily want a floral on your embossing, but you still want texture. And that little tiny dot is perfect for a lot of different things. Oh, look. Isn't that so pretty? It's just so dainty and vintage looking. I just love it. It kind of reminds me of the tile work and stuff that we saw in Spain. I could see this done in a royal blue, even with the coral also. Okay, so for sentiments, I glimmered a whole bunch of these Yana special sentiments. This is an older set. I actually got it at Hobby Lobby before they discontinued all their dies. But it is a glimmer set. It is still available on the website. And it's got all these glimmer plates, and then it's got coordinating dies. So it was really easy, and I used a bunch of my scrap foils. So that's what I've used, and I got us a bunch here to pick from. And I even reverse foiled some of them. Let's see. See, I did the reverse and it works out really good with this set. I really like the way that worked out. Okay, I was going to do You Are a Wonderful Friend on this one, and I wanted to put it kind of right there in the center. And I'm going to pop it up with some foam dots. Just get some of these little ones on here. I just love this size. I think that'll be good. Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking, something like that. I just wanted something nice and nice and delicate on this. I wanted a really classy font that was nice and delicate. I want to put a little bit, drop of glue on each of those also. Glad I put that little bit of glue. I had to move it just a little bit. There we go. There's our card, guys. And actually, I had thought about putting these little guys. I don't think they're small enough though. Yeah, I was going to put them in the middle. If I didn't like the yellow, I was going to put them in the middle, but they're really not small enough. So for my bonus card, are y'all ready? It turned out kind of cute. Here's the bonus card. Now this is the back. I colored it on the other side, just like we colored the one today, but I used a few extra colors, and I also did the little dots around it also. And then I used this little set, Sealed Blooms, and I just purchased the sealed collection, or the kit that makes these wax seals. So I'll be playing with those soon to see if I like them, and I'll let y'all know how it goes. But I was going to put one right here, but I didn't get a chance, and I'm leaving town soon. So this is how I decided to do this. And then I just need to add a sentiment, and this one's done. So let's see. Do I want to add a gold sentiment or a white sentiment? I kind of like that happy anniversary just because it goes over the stem. At first I was gonna do thank you down here. Do I like that better, or do I like that better? It doesn't really look like an anniversary card though. It's got the gold going on there, so I think I'm going to use this one. Oh, I was going to do thank you. Here we go. All right, guys, we're finishing this one up. And actually, I'm going to use half a one. Here. I should be using my tweezers. It would be easier. Okay. Luckily the papers come off super easy. Alrighty. Now put you right down here in the corner. And there we go. So there's our cards for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.